1, 2, 3.
What are your philosophies and standards or thoughts when it comes to scheduling?
I think it's gotten harder every year. It used to be you would try and get your schedule done by Memorial Day so you could kind of enjoy the summer and go out and recruit because everybody was done essentially with their class. You could have people on campus throughout the summer. Rosters aren't set, so I feel like scheduling gets kind of backburnered. The chance to play in front of family and friends when we can. It's hard to get everybody all the time and match it up, but we scheduled a game literally a few weeks ago because it made sense, because it was in the South, it was in Charlotte or near Charlotte at Winthrop. Shane Blakeney is from there. Lamar Odom is just a few hours away in Atlanta. So the program is not about who the head coach is. It's about the players and the people we have in it. And when we can do something for them and they're excited, it does wonders. I think we'll be excited for that game for so many different reasons. And so I think when you look at your schedule and you craft it to what can be regionally close in terms of travel and budget conscious, but when you go with a purpose and a reason to play in one of your players' backyards if you can. I imagine, without even you answering that question, that it's very similar to that answer, but there are differences in our game in terms of some of those money games are not as prevalent on your end. What's your non-conference thoughts when you schedule games?
I think similar to yours. I think we want to make sure we can get our players back home at some point or close to home for family, friends. And example, this year we played up in Buffalo. That was the closest we could get Kashana Washington to Canada. So her whole family was able to come see her. But I think that's always on the radar. One of the great parts about being in Philadelphia, we have a lot of Philadelphia Catholic League players, or area kids on our team. So I feel like that's already a great thing for us, being part of the Big Five, adding that to our schedule now. That was something I think we already had a great atmosphere for those games, but now there's going to be more intent with the teams, and that's going to be a big piece of our scheduling that we know is on board, which I think we're both really excited about.
Yep. I think 1986 is the last time Temple played at Drexel.
Yeah, I can't wait. Awesome. That's gonna be really awesome.
Yeah.
I think that all comes into play, and then I think the environment, preparing them. I think preparing them for what they're going to see, whether it's a conference opponent or it could be a loud environment, just the type of things they're going to see once they start conference. Because, as we know, once conference starts, it's full steam ahead. You really can't look back. You got to really use those opportunities to grow your team. And I think those things are other areas like I try to look at and say, hey, is this going to be great? If we go down to Florida Gulf Coast this year and play in a sold-out arena against the NCAA team, how that's going to definitely prepare us for anything we're going to see this year. So I think about that. That's one of the reasons I haven't really handed that over to anybody. I've been doing it for a very long time here at Drexel, but we do have the games where we go places and we have an opportunity to get paid to go play. And I know that's something you mentioned earlier, but there's nothing better when you do that and you beat them. So, and that's happened quite a few times for us. So I think that's
you have an immediate story of that. I have one in my mind, but do you have an immediate one?
I think the best for us is we've played a couple teams. We went to Penn State the one year and beat them at Penn State. We went to Pitt, and then we also played at Syracuse, and all teams that we beat here or whatever. But it was definitely an experience. We know in doing so, you're putting yourself in a position. If it's a game you end up winning, it's great, but you're also preparing for something that's going to help you down the line.
Yeah, no doubt. I think one of my experiences here was going to the Paradise Jam. We were the 8th seed in the tournament. We're going to play a top 25 team in Houston to start the game, to start the event. We were down probably 3 or 4 the whole game, just kept chipping away. Ended up having a great win. I just don't think there's a better feeling. Beating Houston, a top 25 team, picked to be really successful, have been perennially in the top 10 really in the last handful of years. To have beaten Houston was huge for our program. I remember being in the locker room, guys fired up. I remember coming out of the locker room and getting a phone call from President Fry right away about how excited he was. Those wins away from home can be really, really pivotal in the growth of the team and the program. It helps in recruiting, it helps with the current players and confidence. So road games, they're hard to win for a reason, and when you do, they're that much more rewarding and they're very helpful.